Michael, this is the end.
This is the end of the year. For the year. That's right. It is now come to the end of the year. The end of the year has approached much faster than we had thought, and the projects that we're hoping to get done didn't quite get there, but that's all right. We've got next year to get into them. But we figured, being that it is the end of the year, and we've had a few more projects introduced to the channel and a few more projects that have disappeared from the channel, we thought it might be a good opportunity to give everyone a wrap up of where everything is and what's the plan and what we're going to be doing next year, and you know where all these builds are going to go, because we've got so many on the run that even we can't keep track of them anymore. It's like a Spotify wrap up, but better. So yeah, what should we start with? Which one? Take a pick, Nathan.
Well, these are all yours, so it doesn't really affect me.
No, it doesn't. So starting with the Gemini, where is it at? It is pretty much ready for roadworthy now. It even got its brand new spanking tyres on it for the first time in 20 years. Turned out that the tyres on this were last put on it in 1988. And the spare tyre in this thing was the original spare tyre from the car. I've done a few little more things over the time that you saw it last. I have put new tyres on, like I said. I finished off the interior a little bit more, found some of the dress trims in the interior. I'm sort of buying little bits here and there. I put new window liners on it because they're a little bit buggered and stuff like that, all the little things. So it's just about ready for roadie. The only thing is now just trying to get in to get it roadworthy at the end of the year. It's probably not going to happen because everyone's flat out. So hopefully next year it'll be on the road and we'll be able to drive it. I put a permit on it and I drove it to the next town where I got this thing wheel aligned, and I got to say, it's fun to drive. It's a little zippy, little slow thing, but it's fun. It's got spirit, and at 100k it's like meh, but it's cool. It's pretty cool. Once it gets registered, we'll run it as it is for a little while, figure out what we want to do with it, and figure out a plan from there on what happens, whether we keep it, whether we sell it, whether we modify it, whether we airbag it, engine conversion it, who knows. World is our tiny little oyster. Sandman. This is a car that we haven't seen too much on the channel ever since we got the engine finished on this thing. I mean, we took it to hard ass and it ran some really decent times when my old man was driving it, and we can see that it's got potential to run even better times if we put like a true track in it. Is that going to happen? Probably not. This is not a drag car. I'm not going to do what I've done to the HQ in this thing and turn it into a drag car. It's not the car for it, even though it would probably be quicker than the HQ if I put a true track in it. I might one day put a true track in it just for the simple fact that I think every car should have LSD or twin spinners, but drag racing in it, I don't know. We might take a couple of times just for the fun of it, but the plans for this moving forward is, it really depends on what happens with the HQ, more on that later, but for now, biggest thing we'll see in this next year is probably a new exhaust system. So you guys remember that we put a single pipe exhaust system on this thing, 2.5 inch, and ever since we did it, we were never really happy with it, were we?
Nah.
It doesn't sound... It sounds alright when it's going really hard, but every other time it doesn't sound great.
It sounds like a thong slapper.
It does.
Standard thong slapper sound.
It does. It really does, and it's loud. It's super loud, this car, for what it is, because it's only got one muffler in it. And you know, when you get this thing started in the morning and it's coughing and spluttering, the neighbours don't love it. So the plan will be in the future to probably end up doing a twin system, similar to what we did with the HQ. But that's probably all we're going to do for the Sandman, depending on what happens with the HQ in the near future. So the Sandman runs a 308. It's a fairly hot 308 that was built by Horsepower Junkie. It runs a Brawler carby. So the reason why we did this was we wanted to do the comparison back in the day between Sniper EFI versus carby, and that was why we built these two cars, and this engine needed to freshen up. So this thing moves really well for what it is. It actually got a fair bit of pep to it, and we're refining that engine in the future. I don't know whether we're going to do much more with it because it works really well, but I would love to see a Sniper on this at some stage. We'll see. I don't know, or some sort of EFI. But this car is more of basically a resto, I guess, isn't it? Because it's pretty stock-ish.
Yeah.
It's what anyone would have done back in the day. Period correct sort of build, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy, you know, just the usual 308 stuff. And she runs great. She runs really well. I don't use it nearly enough as I should because the HQ, it's got 2-step, so it's more fun to go cruising in. We really built this car and walked away from it, didn't we? We didn't do too much with this car once we got it built because we were busy with other projects at the time, but maybe we should bring it back because everyone seems to love the Sandman.
What do you do to a car like this though?
That's the thing. It's sort of done, isn't it?
It's a complete resto, you know, and it's finished.
Yeah. Like,
what more do you do?
I don't know what else we could really do to this car.
I mean, if it was up to me, I'd put a big block, welds, tubs, 9-inch,
Yeah, but I don't even know if I know, like it'd be cool. I don't even know if you'd do that to this car though, because this is such a good. Originally, it's not an original Sandman, by the way, it's a replica, but it does look like such an original Sandman, and everything works in it so well. Would you really change it? Like, I'm not going to go cruising with a big block in this. I've got the HQ, which is a more fun car to drive.
But that's not a big block.
I know it's not a big block, but it's still more fun. Like, you've driven them both.
Yeah.
Which would you say is a more fun car to drive?
The HQ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because that thing just whips around. It doesn't feel right whipping around with the canopy.
No, I hate driving this thing.
Yeah.
It's just so big.
Yeah. So, we'll probably leave that as it is, refine it a bit more, and like we said, we'll change the exhaust because we're not happy with the exhaust, and like it's fine, but it could be better. So the HQ, the 15-second wonder. This car we've been working on for many years now. It was one of the first cars on the channel. If you haven't seen it before, it runs a Holden 253, which is basically a bog stock engine. It runs a 2.5-inch exhaust system, which we built completely custom, and most importantly, the Holly Sniper. Oh, and it's got a Ford T5 in it as well too. Oh, and a true track and billet axles. It's actually had a lot done to it now that I think about it. What's happening with this next year? Just further development and trying to get this thing into the 14s. We got really, really close, painstakingly close, some might say, at the Hard Ass 1000. So the goal is still to try and get that, infamous 14-second pass. All it needs to be is a 14.99, and then I'll be happy with it. So we'll continue to try and get to that. I don't think we're going to do much more to modify because I think the car can do it. It's more now trying to drive it to that. So I'm teaching myself how to get it off the line and all that to get it to that 14-second pass.
Well, you learnt that you were chicken footing it the whole time.
Yeah, so there's things that we've learned since the issues that we had at the Hardest 1000 with the O2 sensor. Like I'm not getting full throttle. I wasn't getting full throttle when I was racing it. I was at about 85 to 90% at best. So we might get a little bit more out of it, and it's just going to be time in the seat again and just trying to get it to go down. I think it can do it as it is. If not, we'll strip everything out of this thing. We'll even put this thing on the bottle if we have to get this thing to do a 14 and put a 50 shot into it. However, there are plans in the future, or there's plans ruminating in my head of what I'd love to make this car one day be. Sticking with the 253, but I'd love to try and make a fully cross-ram ITB setup for a 253. I know it's a waste of time. I know it won't make much more power, but I just think it would sound really cool. And this thing is all about the theatrics with this car. It's a slow car, but like everyone says, driving slow cars fast is some of the most fun you'll ever have. And I just think it would sound awesome. This car already sounds awesome from the exhaust. If we could make the intake sound just as awesome, I think it would be the whole package and it would just be cool. Nathan has no interest in it whatsoever. Nathan could not care less about it, and it's going to be an expensive and very difficult exercise to do because I've already tried to make it happen and there's been so many different ways of doing it, and it's going to be a lot of money wasted, but I just think it would be cool. So I'm telling you guys now because I want to hear your input. Tell me in the comments, is it worth it? Should I be trying to chase the cross ramp ITB setup on a 253? Is it worth doing? Does anybody want to see it? does anybody want to help sponsor it? Because I've got the prices of what it's going to take to do it.
I can already tell the comments.
It's going to be ridiculous.
Put a Chev in it.
Yeah, I know.
Just put a 355 in it. Just put a 308
I
in
said
it.
I'd never do it. I got to stick to my word. You know, if you can't trust me there, where can you trust me? That's the plans. The HQ. That's well in the future, and that's why I was saying the Sandman. What happens with the Sandman in the future really depends on what I do with this. Because if I end up going down that path, it's a fully custom intake setup and fuel setup and everything. So the sniper system will then not be used. So I might put the sniper system onto the Sandman, which I think the Sandman would really benefit from that sniper system being the bigger engine and whatnot. I think it would be awesome to do. So take that, put that there, modify this. Don't know where it's going to happen. Don't know if it's happening next year because finances, it'll cost a lot of money to do it. So we'll see. Anyway, what other cars can we update you on?
Cortina.
Cortina, oh yeah.
What's this barn find in the background, Nathan?
Well, obviously, you know, I'm more important than the old man, so my car got finished first, but I think straight away next year we need to kick off the year with getting stuck straight into this car. If you haven't seen this car, this is a 1978 Ford Cortina. It's got a AU single cam engine with a built C4, I think, and a Borg Warner rear end.
And we're turboing it.
And we're turboing it. So it's got a full boot system at the moment. It's got a Nexus in it, I think.
Says here,
It's got a
Nexus
Nexus. It's honestly, I keep forgetting what's done to this car. It's got the dash, the Nexus, everything's already mounted.
Yeah. This car is actually, doesn't look it, but it's actually
quite.
it's really
actually
close.
quite far along. Like it's
Yeah.
honestly so. It's pretty much we could start wiring this car and building the harness, which I'm really excited to do. Whereas the XE, it was kind of just like, Michael, you do that and I'll do that. Whereas this car, it's kind of, I actually want to sit there and be with Michael and do the loom
Aww.
with him
Aww.
and hold his hand. With the XE, I was just jumping in and going, oh yeah, that works like that. Yep, cool. Learned a little bit and that's it. Whereas this one, I actually want to learn a lot more. So I'm looking forward to doing the wiring harness on this car.
I think it was more like you were leaning like, are you done yet? Are you done yet?
No, I wasn't like that.
Done,
I
man.
wasn't like that.
Hurry up.
I was like, well, why do you want me to run? What do you need me to do?
A barn find with a sock in it, Nathan.
As you can see, she's quite neglected.
Yeah, and we stole a lot of parts of her to get the XE
We
running.
took a lot of parts off it for the XE, but so the Cortina will get stuck straight back into this next year because I do want this car to go to Drag Challenge 2025. That is the goal. So get this car finished mid-year.
We had not forgotten about it. It's just that the XE took preference, obviously, because it drag challenge and such. So
Yeah.
this is definitely back, and you'll see it early on your screens next year.
Yeah.
As well as Daniel's Tirana, that'll probably be early as well too, I reckon. So 2 mid-sized sedans we're building at the same time. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And then we'll just pretty much prove to you that the Ford 6-cylinder is more elite.
I don't know. This Tirana's going to give it a run for its money.
Nah,
No,
I
this
reckon
is
going to chop that Tirana.
We'll see.
Ford vs Holden. That'll be a really good Ford vs Holden.
Yeah, that's
Even
why-
though Daniel keeps calling out me in the XE, but the XE's retired, mate. It's done its DC.
Yeah,
It's
that's
done.
what you say. I guarantee it's doing next year's DC.
So anyway, that's the Cortina. Straight back into this next year. Don't miss out.
Another car that we're going to be building next year, obviously, is going to be the Tirana. So you would have seen that in last week's episode. We're planning on building a 10-second or less Tirana NA with a LS Turbo 400 and 9-inch behind it. That is very early in the build right now, but we've nearly got everything we need. So next year, once Daniel gets everything sorted underneath, it gets the car basically ready to go. It should just be, he gives it to us, we do all the cool shit, put a V8 in it, and that should be good to go. So that's going to be an exciting build because we've never worked on a Tirana before, and doing that at nearly the same time as doing the Cortina, I think it's going to be awesome to see the two very similar but very different cars from the same era being built pretty much side by side. We're going to do them both here in the shed too, so that'll be cool. So another thing that we wanted to bring in this episode as well too, the chopped FJ Cruiser that Les Timman Fabrications has been building in the background for about 2 years now. We put a post up on that on Instagram just because, you know, it's finished and it's cool, and it's probably the only one in Australia that we've seen, maybe even in the world. And that went gangbusters. It got like over 1 million something views in a week, which is just ridiculous for us. It's the highest viewed post we've ever done. So we thought we'd do a quick little rundown on that and show you guys that, because it is pretty cool, and it is, we think, could be a world's first, a chopped, extended FJ Cruiser. So let's go have a look at that.
All right, Nathan, what are we looking at?
All right, you've all seen it on Instagram. Now it is completely finished, engineered, and on the road, and it is a FJ Cruiser U. Alright, so I don't even know what year this car is. What is it?
Car's a 2011 FJ Cruiser.
And it's chopped.
And it's chopped, yeah. So I have been asked by a lot of people, was it damaged? I said no, it wasn't damaged because I don't like buying damaged cars. So this was a really good condition car.
So good that it became a toolbox.
Yeah. I've had this dream for about 10 years and it's finally taken 2 years to build. So now it's all finished.
It definitely has the right proportions. It's a little Tonka toy type thing. I don't know, it's just tough. But anyway, the chop, do you want to go into the chop?
So the chop was, I basically worked it off I had a GQ coil cab ute and I set it side by side and I wanted to make it look really factory. So basically it's got 300mm in the chassis.
So it's been extended, 300
It's been extended. It's got a GU ute rear wall. You know, some people said, oh, why didn't you do a space cab? I didn't want a space cab. There's plenty of room behind the seats because I wanted a longer tray. So the tray's 1840 by 2100.
Yep.
So this car basically is an all-rounder.
Yeah,
You can
so
use it for work, you can use it for play. Every day, I drive this car every day.
So aside from the chop, we'll go more into that in a minute, but what's actually been done to it other than the chop?
It's got full Dobinson suspension. It's only got a 30mm lift on the back. We got coilovers on the front, so we wound it up to where we've got a nice height so it sits right.
So these are coilovers, are they?
They're coilovers.
Coilover fronts, and the rears, they're just coils as well too, because they are obviously,
coils.
being a wagon, this was a coiled rear end,
This
yeah?
is pretty much a Prado chassis.
It is. It's a Prado chassis.
Yeah.
Shame they didn't put diesels in them, but it is what it is. Coils all round, four-wheel disc brakes all round. It's got all the goods.
So for those that don't know, the reason why Les did this is because Les does full time. He chops four-wheel drives, as you can see in the background. There's a, what's that, 100 series being cut?
That's 105.
Yeah, 105. So this is his full-time gig, and yeah, he decided one day he's going to take the grinder to an FJ. The chop itself, tell us how it's done, because I know there's supposed to be a suicide door here, and there no longer is a suicide door here at the rear.
Well, with the suicide door, before I cut it, I had to basically weld all the doors shut with plates before I even actually cut it. So otherwise I'd lose the door gap. So the door shuts really nice, so I'd lose all that. So that was all chopped. Then I chopped the back off, and then I had to work out rear body mounts because they had no rear body mounts in this. So I sort of put something in place. Then we put 300mm in the chassis, which is 30mm longer than a GQ.
And does it drive any different from, because you drove this for a while as a wagon, does it drive any different now being chopped?
Turning circle has changed.
Yeah.
But otherwise it drives really good.
Yeah, so it'd be the same as any other coil cab
other,
ute,
yeah,
I
that's
suppose.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a coil cab ute now.
Yeah.
Pretty much a GQ coil cab.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
It's
Toyota.
still
Toyota, yeah.
It's the coil cab that Toyota should have made.
Yeah, it's the coil cab Camry.
It's a coil cab Camry.
It's got a Camry engine, doesn't it?
Yes, let's go through the engine, what, don't we?
It's just your V6. I'm pretty sure they're just a Camry engine.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Is it? I don't know. If not, I'm getting roasted. Actually, I don't know if that fits in a Camry. It's a pretty big engine, not
It is
gonna
a
lie.
big engine.
Yeah,
What
you
size
can
is
buy
it?
chargers for these cars. You know, it'd be nice. Supercharger.
Harry.
It's got a long range of tank in it, so he could be able to get from home to here in the tank. 4-inch snorkel, stainless snorkel, so it breathes better. A hammer bull bar, of course, this is what he wanted. He didn't want any hoops. Built his own scrub bars to hug the body line, and then they go down and tie into the frame rail. And I think those look really good.
They do look good. They really give it that little bit, just a little bit wider stance.
Yeah, and it blends it in, and it doesn't look like your other scrub bars that are ugly and big and they stick out this far away from everything. It's tight and hugged to the body. Fuel wheels with 35-inch tyres. You can fit 35s on your FJ Cruiser.
Yes, you can.
Did you chop out the body mount?
Yes.
Body mount's been
Chopped
chopped
out,
out.
which hasn't been engineered. It's just a slight trim.
I like the colour. I like the King Chrome blue.
The King Chrome blue.
So
Maybe we need to
You
take
can
this
talk
to the
about
next King Chrome event. Put King Chrome Cruiser across the
I
windshield.
reckon we should.
all these, that was the old roof rack.
Yeah.
So I've cut it and modified it to fit the light.
Oh, because that would have extended further, was it?
Yes.
So that would have gone back
Yeah.
to, because they were factory roof rack, yeah?
Yes.
So, but all these brackets here, obviously they weren't factory. This is all being
No,
made
that's all
by
been
you.
it's all been made.
But all the drawbar and everything is factory?
Yeah, that's all factory.
It's very cool. You'd never pick that it's been modified, would you? It
Nah.
just looks like it's rolled out of the factory like this.
Yeah.
Oh, never sat in one of these before. This trim panel here obviously is not factory.
No, R&A.
RNA did
Rob
that.
and Adam at RNA Upholstery.
I was looking at it and it genuinely looks like a factory panel. Like I would never
Yeah.
have picked it as being
Yeah,
custom.
boys helped me out.
Looks good. They're a cool interior, these things. They've definitely got that sort of retro appeal to it still, doesn't it?
Quirky little things like that.
Sitting in here, you wouldn't even know. With all the trimming and stuff that you've done to it, it looks
Yeah. And there's a lot of
stock as a
electrical.
rock.
My mate Johnny, he nailed it for the electrical. He's done an awesome job.
It's awesome. It looks really, really good. It's turned out really awesome. We've sort of been following along the build. Well, Les has been doing this now for the past 2 years, checking in and watching the progress, and it's awesome to see it finally finished. And yeah, the reason why we're showing you guys is because we threw this up on the Instagram, did a quick little reel of it a couple of months ago now, and it just went gangbusters. So we thought we should probably do a recap of the whole car now that it's finished for anyone that's interested. And yeah, maybe in the future we'll see this on the channel when we might be hopefully throwing a blower on it one day. But, Harriet, it's cool. All right, Nathan, the car that everyone wants to know, what's the plan? The Fairlane. Where is it? What's it doing? What's happening with it?
Well, the Fairlane obviously has a cover on it and is just sitting in the corner. I was looking at it the other day, a bit sad, and I was like, you know what? I think, Michael, I haven't told Michael this yet.
Oh,
I
here we
think
go.
we're just going to throw another BTR single cam combo in it for now. For now, just to get the car back on the road, because I don't really like seeing it like this. I'm going to tinker with it on the side, clean up the engine bay, clean up a few things here and there, and I think I might slowly gather some parts and put another single cam BTR combo back in the car to get it running, driving.
AU this time?
AU, we will spend money on big Haltech, like what you want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, because we were thinking maybe V8.
I can tell you right now, there's what Nathan's saying right now. Don't worry too much, guys, because it'll change tomorrow. So I'm not even worried about when he says he's going to do this, because all he needs is a 302 to pop up on Marketplace, and it's done.
I got a
Or an
302
LS.
there though.
I still reckon LS, but we're working on that one. But
Nah, couldn't LS.
there's been a couple of ideas thrown around. We talked about Godzilla-ing this thing. We talked about LSing this thing. We talked about putting another AU combo back in this thing, except with a Turbo 400. But all that comes with a lot of money and financials, which obviously after just finishing the XE, we don't quite have that in the bank right now. So yeah,
So yeah, that's it. It's just going to sit here until, I don't know,
it will be back. It is not the end of the Fairlane.
I win the lottery or something.
Comments below though. What would you really love to see in the Fairlane?
Yeah, let me just lay it out for you. Tubbed Turbo 400 single cam, or
Tubbed Turbo 400 Twin Turbo LS. Tubbed Turbo 400 Godzilla. Choose your
there
own
you go.
adventure.
Choose your weapon.
Choose your own adventure.
Choose your weapon. But yeah.
And Nathan will ignore all the comments and just do what he wants to do at the end of the day. Cause
Well, it's my car. Or Barra. I mean, we didn't even say Barra. There's literally a Barra sitting.
I don't want to see a Barra in the Fairlane. Does anyone want to see a Barra in the Fairlane? Comments below. But I couldn't do it. This was the Barra killer.
Yeah, I know.
And then you're gonna put a Barra into it?
Nah, I can't put a Barra in it. If anything, it'll see a G42 on an AU bottom end. Massive turbo on the AU bottom end.
Goal is 9s in this now.
The goal is 9s in the Fairlane.
So it'll be caged.
Yeah, so that's the thing is there's quite a bit of money to be spent. I want to fit a 275. I do fit a 275 on it, but I want the thing on the ground. So it needs to be tubbed to fit 275. It needs to be caged. Nexus, big turbo, single cam, 400. Come on, people, that's what we want.
Come on, people, V8. Let's get a V8 in this thing. Sign the petition. All right, Nathan, the XE.
What about it? car before. It is a 1984 XE Falcon GL. It was a 250 crossflow T-bar auto car, and it was slow. So we fixed that with an Aussie single cam AU engine, EF engine, and a 4-speed BDR combo with a Borg Warner differential. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Tried and tested combo, and it's just a taxi. And it ran a 10.3 drag challenge at 127 mile an hour. It's gone 130 mile an hour, but it went 127 on that pass. And yeah, she's a good unit. She's done her racing duties, and that's it. She's a street driver, man.
Have you been driving a lot?
I drive it all the time. I went to Super Chief in it yesterday. Get rags. I love this car. I think we built a killer car here. There's like, a car is never finished. I've got a list of things that I still want to do to it, but at the moment I'm happy with the car. It's ready to cruise summer, ready to go to car events. Just drive the wheels off it. That's it. The only thing I did do was I lowered it again.
Yeah, well, that's standard.
Yeah.
And you weren't gonna go racing again anytime soon?
Oh yeah, I missed out Friday. I was gutted I didn't go Friday, but
What a lot of people don't know is we still have a fair bit more in this engine.
yeah. So I think next year, maybe start of next year, we will be throwing this back on the dyno with Jake, and we're going to wind in a couple more pounds.
And maybe even more, because we could do boost by gear now.
Yeah, well, Michael wants to dive into boost by gear, which I'm not against. We're like winding it in at the back end of the track is the way to go to not hurt an engine. We can pretty much leave on what we're leaving on.
Yeah.
Our 60 foot, what did we go?
1.4. Yeah, we're 1.4 something.
1.46 60 foot or something. I think if we push the 60 foot harder, we're going to start seeing diff problems.
Yeah.
Because we've still got standard axles in this diff. So keep the 60 foot there because it loves it, and then wind it in down the back end to try and get a 9999.
Yes.
And
That's what we'd love to get in this car.
the idea is 9s for this car. That's it.
Yeah.
So-
And that's pretty much as far as this car's going to go, because like we said, this is supposed to be Nathan's cruiser. It just so happens to be faster than the drag car we used to have. Turn it up,
turn it
page
up
up a little bit, and
Yeah.
see what this car can actually do, because by all means, it is looking like it could be a 9-second car.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's got it in it. You'll probably see this car again when we're going racing with the Ute again.
Yes, Daniel's VYU.
Yeah,
we
Daniel's got plans for that car.
We've got some updates on that too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One of the last but not least, our longest running ever Hackshop project, the go-kart. Long-time viewers will remember this car. It was on the channel, I think nearly 2 years ago now, maybe even longer. We started it, we got it to this stage, then we realised we need a bunch of parts, and because it's all completely custom, it took ages to find those parts, and we just got busy with cars, because you know that's what people really want to see, not necessarily our little go-kart. But over those couple of years, I have been slowly collecting the parts we need to finish this thing off and get it running. It is our longest ever running project. We do want to finish it, and we do have plans on finishing it. It's just a matter of when we get time. I would love to have finished this before the end of the year, but we ran out of time. So maybe early next year as well too, we might try and squeeze her in. Or up to you guys if you guys even want to see it, because it didn't get a lot of views, this build. So if no one's interested in it, I'll just build it off camera and show you when it's finished. But if you want to see it, let us know in the comments, and we'll build it on camera. It's up to you guys really, because I just want to finish it because I think it's going to be cool, and we've got to do something with it, and I'm sick of wheeling it around. So if I can start her up and drive it around, it'd be even better. Other project speed rounds, where they've all gone. LSQ sold, XF sold, G&W, that's now in Queensland, Liam still has it. The VY Turbo Ute, Daniel still has that. He's still going to continue to race that. He is now trying to get into the 10s on that thing. We have a few things to try and assist with that. We were very kindly donated a 2-step by a viewer whose name escapes in a minute, and I apologise, I'll load that in. This is a plug and play system, looks really easy, so we're going to use that in conjunction with some fancy tuning to try and build boost off the line, snap every axle, or run a 10. We don't know yet, we'll see what happens. HG, where's that gone? That has gone away for a little while now because Les has to do all the rust repairs and stuff like that. You guys have remembered there was a fair bit of rust in it. That's going to take a fair amount of time, but that will be back, hasn't been forgotten. We do have engines for it. I say engines because he had a plan of what he wanted to build. We were putting a 308 in. Now he's obtained a 350, but now there's talk of Nathan saying that there could be a big block in his future. I'm not going to tell anyone here to get excited about anything because it's a Camilleri car, and that's going to change 7 ways to Sunday before we even get to there. So who knows what's going to be in it? Could be a Barra. We don't know.
At least it's not a 253.
So, but we will see that car again in the late future. It just depends on when it gets back to us. The XY, same thing with the XY. I forgot that we even built an XY for a period there. We've handed that back to the owner, Rodney. He's now just slowly piecing together when he gets funds and time and stuff like that, because it's really just interior and stuff to get it on the road now, isn't it? And one day we might sit again, we might not. We don't know. It depends on if it gets done. We don't do interiors. See? Have we built anything else? Anything else? Pretty much all our cars. All the major cars that we've built anyway. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all the projects that we've sort of got planned for next year and where everything is at the moment and what the future plans are. Other things that we want to do other than building cars is next year I'd really like to do a lot of shed infrastructure stuff. There's a few different projects that I want to get sorted in this shed to make it run a little bit better. The back section, we still want to change that all around to make it easy to work in when we're fabricating stuff. So you'll probably see a lot more of that as well too.
More events.
More events.
Optima. If you've thought about doing Optima, go back and watch our Optima video, and I would highly suggest getting your shitbox out, using your shitbox, and drive it.
Yeah.
Bring it to Optima and have a ball with it. It was definitely the best day had in the car. We're going to be there in Michael's HQ, the XE, and Daniel will probably have VY there as well. Mackie will be there with his tissue box. It's just a killer day. If you love using your car, I would hands down suggest entering your car in that event and getting there and doing it.
Come see if you can beat the HQ.
No, come see if you can beat the XE.
Oh, that's easy. It's been a big year. We did a lot, I suppose. I mean, we did a massive amount of events. We did a lot of drag racing. We built a car in 14 weeks, which we then took drag racing all across the state and ran fastest than we ever ran. The Gemini is finally just about finished. Everything is running, except for the Fairlane, obviously. But we've spoken about that. That's going to be back in the future.
See what happens with the Fairlane.
Again, we'll leave it to you guys in the comments. What do you guys want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? Is there any projects, any ideas, anything that you guys want to see that we can try and hopefully do in the future? Do more of, if you guys are interested in certain something.
I've been visualizing mini truck in our future.
He really wants to do a mini truck.
If only someone approached me with a single cab Hilux 1995 with a tub.
So that could be in the cards as well too. So yeah, we don't know what next year looks like exactly. We have an idea, but we never really know what we're doing, as is pretty apparent. Big thank you to the sponsors this year for helping us out. Obviously, King Chrome for all their support with the tooling and such like that. Raceworks for your continual support with all the awesome gear that we get to build these cars, and Tiperformance for supplying all the performance gear and maintenance gear for everything that we do. Everything that we buy is through Tiperformance. So if you need anything, head on over there and they've got everything to get you sorted, basically. Tough Mounds, thank you for all the help you've given us this year with everything, with the XE and now the Tirana and everything. New Tech for all the bully liner and such that we've been just coating everything in. I don't know how much bully liner we've used in this past year, but it's been a lot. And honestly, guys, biggest thank you to you guys at home, because if it wasn't for you guys watching at home, I know everyone says it, but we wouldn't be doing this. It wouldn't be possible. Thank you for the support, thank you for the views. It does help, it really does help keep the lights on in the shed. And thank you for buying the merch, and thank you for everyone that is a member. Don't forget members, we have an end of year members meet coming up really shortly, so hopefully see you guys there. And if anyone else wants to start coming to those meets, make sure you sign up, because we hold them every couple of months, members only meets. Yeah, that's
it.
Pretty much it, I guess.
That's it for the year. Next year, big year, another one.
More drag racing, more events, build more cool shit. Happy holidays to everyone at home. Hope everyone has a safe one. Get the cars out, use them, enjoy them, spend time with your family, all of the above, and
see you in the next year.
See you in the next year. Loki, sit. What's your plan for next year, mate?
He's not a shit dog anymore.
Yeah, I know. You don't come and join us anymore, do you? You've ditched us because you've gotten old. Yeah. Your plans for next year are just sleeping and eating. Yep.